Hello, everybody. Yeah, you're in Jafar, right? There you are.
How are you, Dr. John?
Hi, how you doing today?
Nice today. Good work today with the neurosurgery and reading an articles and so on of that work.
Well,
so work.
Did you like yesterday?
Yes.
Saturday. I mean, was it Saturday? What day's today? Today is Sunday. Oh, yesterday. Yeah. Did you like yesterday?
It was an incredible meeting by Dr. Hoz describing CT scan, basic of CT scan. So it's
it looked like fun.
I was so many meetings describe the basics of CT scan, but no one has described the CT scan.
I think that was a good learning experience.
Actually, it's a brilliant meeting to describe the CT scan basics, especially when he described how the penetrating bullet injury and how we can determine the side of entry and side of bullet. So it was a great meeting and
Good.
great educational meeting.
Yes,
Thanks
yes,
for Neurosurgical TV and for Dr. Hose.
yes. Dr. Hose arranged it well. Stephanie, are you there? Mustafa, Ali, Usama. You don't have to say, you don't have to come on the panel. You know, anybody that's having a hard time getting in the panel, let me know. Getting most of them in. There's a Stephania. I think Stephanie couldn't talk, because she wasn't in. I'm going to put you guys on the big screen. Oh, yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. We start in a few minutes. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. We start in a few minutes. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hello, Noe, are you there?
Hello, John. I'm right here. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, Samer usually comes in late, but maybe after it's over, we can stay and you can talk a few minutes with Samer, okay?
All right. I'll be here.
Yeah, because I think we can learn a lot from him. Because it's not easy to have a group be interactive. No, you know, of course, there's a couple of ingredients. It helps to have a host that's like you, like friendly, and then, you know, talks to people, and like Samer. You can see how important it will be. And just how it's like being at a party, you know, when you throw a party, you got to make sure everyone's happy, and you try to go to all parts. Somebody has food, someone has a drink, someone wants to go home, whatever. You know,
Okay, John.
you're running a party.
Uh, okay, John. I will pay attention.
Okay. Yeah, I learned a lot when I saw this last one. This is third one. I said, wow, this guy's got the formula. This guy's got the formula for running a good webcast that's interactive. And when I see your group, I see a lot of people. We just need to give them direction and show them some good stuff, and they'll do it.
Yes.
And we need to utilize Zoom, and the way that you're going to see the way Samuel uses it, he really uses it well. It's not a strict lecture.
Okay, I will pay attention to make it more interactive. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it's not easy. I have a hard time too, you know. Sometimes it's tough. But I think what you got and what he has, you have a community, you have a head start. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
chances are they're going to be interactive because they know you. It's not like you're a stranger. Like the girl that helps you, what's her name? Oh, again, I'm having a blank. But there are people there that know you, and I don't think they're going to have a hard time being active. But I think that would be a big deal, and because there's nothing in the Spanish space that has
Exactly.
interactive teaching with the neurosurgery community students. None that I've seen. Maybe they're there, but I haven't seen them. Like right now, we have 20, but we'll end up with at least 60 probably. Because this
Yes,
is
well,
kind of,
22.
that's plenty. You know, this is an extra session. We're not supposed to have it till Tuesday.
Okay, so these are every Thursday.
No, this is no Saturday.
All right.
Well, I don't know if it's Thursday. No, it's Tuesday and Saturday. Yeah, it
Okay,
was Tuesdays and Saturdays, but we added this today.
okay, today is an extra.
Yes, an extra one. I didn't realize he wanted to do today, but he's certainly welcome to. And I thought to myself, man, I'd like to have that every day. Because, you know, with students, it's an everyday thing. Where's Sam? There he is. You getting okay, Simmer? Good day,
Hello.
Simmer.
Hello, John. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm okay.
After we're over, Simmer, I'd like you to meet Noe Cerrillo. He's a neurosurgeon from Mexico. We want to do the same thing that you're doing. I mean, excellent job of interaction, getting the students involved, but we want to have it for the Spanish community. So maybe later you and I and Zoe can talk, okay?
That's great. That's great. I want to learn Spanish.
After you're done. So
Yeah. It's with a
okay,
pleasure.
so what do you want to do here? We can start whenever you want.
Yeah, just promote me just to add some of the people because
Yeah,
we have.
sure, okay. Okay, I'll make you co-host so you can do it too.
Okay.
And I'll make you a co-host too, Noe. And I'll promote everyone I can. I see some kids have their hands up. I imagine they want to get let in.
Mustafa. Over there is many Mustafa. Yeah, there is Mustafa. All the Mustafas are active. Ja'far, Al-Kawthar, Fatima,
Yeah,
Huda.
you've got a good core.
Yeah, they're really pushing us forward.
It's good to
That's very
have a
good.
solid core behind you, a team behind you.
Yeah, actually, the mentorship, that's the unique in mentorship. Actually, they are in front of you, like their dreams are just keeping forward, and you are trying to follow and to help through the process. So I think it's totally different experience, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And I'd like to clone it, man. I'd like to really get other people to do the same type of thing.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you remember from like meetings 4 years ago or 5 years ago, it's difficult for people to get involved and have questions and comment. Pretty
yeah,
shy.
with hangouts. Right.
Yeah, pretty shy in the beginning. Now,
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah,
in some communities, it's still the same. In Japan, it's very difficult to get people to interact.
yeah.
And there's some other places that are, but the Latin community seems a little more forward
Mm,
than the English. But this is a different group. I mean, this group is really good.
thank you. Thank you from me and from them.
Well, it's the kids are into it. They're into it. You can tell. They're enthusiastic. And they want to be here. Let's see who else we got here. Hello, Ali. Hello, Jafar. Okay, Samer, do you want to start?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Mustafa, Fatima, Tiba, are you there? Three of you.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Still Fatima. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me change my
There is
banner here.
also another Fatima, Fatima Oday. Let me check. She may be still not there. Okay. Yeah, we can start and then she can join us.
Okay, let me get my banner right here. It's Neurosurgical TV. Beautiful. Okay, let's start. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good afternoon. This is Dr. John Bennett broadcasting from Miami Beach right here and back here. Beautiful beachside community. We have the honor today of having a great webcast run by SAMER'S, a neurosurgeon from Iraq, a mentorship program, which is very interactive. It was great yesterday, and I'm sure it's going to be great today. And I'll turn it over to Samer and let him run the show. Good day, Samer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, John, and thank you, Neurosurgical TV, again for giving us this opportunity. Today's session will be the fifth session. Correct me if it's so. This is the fifth session, yeah, of our mentorship program, and we would like to continue what we already start about teaching the medical student about neurosurgery. It's actually an experience of early exposure of medical student to neurosurgery, so they can learn more about the medicine in general, about being a doctor, about being a surgeon, about being a brain surgeon, which is like a dream for many people. And at the same time, to provide early exposure about research, about ideas. Another pathway is to think about the residency and the training, and how we will get training, and what will be the process of doing a residency in neurosurgery from different perspectives, from different parts of the world. And the last thing is how I can participate as a medical student in science in all the possible pathway, through presentation, through research. If I have an idea, how I will promote my idea to be a real project. These are the things that we want to discuss. It's more discussion rather than teaching. And we already have this as a promo start and as a slogan and motto for this mentorship, is that our duty in life to support each other and make the next generation even better. And for me, yeah, we are in the core of that project, because you are the next generation. So thank you all for being here. I think today's presentation or today meeting will be very interesting from many aspects. We have 3 different presentations, well prepared, I think, topic to be a operative video with a little quiz at the end. So I would like to start with research topics. We have 2 presentations about research from different perspectives, and at the end I will comment and give you some idea about research. So I would invite Mustafa Ismail. Please share your screen. And Mustafa, he's one of the just graduated. He was a student in the College of Medicine, Baghdad University. He's doing a great job regarding the work in general, scientific work regarding publications, and he will share some of his ideas and some of his work with us. And for all the participant who's a medical student want to participate, whether in our research or to get an idea in general how to do research, I think this is very important presentation to touch base and to start from a common background. So yeah, now Mustafa, the stage is yours.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Mustafa Ismail. I am just graduate from the University of Baghdad College of Medicine. So today's presentation going to be about research dynamics and an introduction to the host team in research. So your main questions, like how to get a part in research, how to join a research, like many students may ask themselves or ask others. This presentation may help you in some way. So first, yeah. So outline for this presentation. First, we have to talk about the structure of the team, how the team structured up and how it's work. Then we will talk about the domain and research. So what the host mentorship domains within the neurosurgery, what will be. And we will show you some statistics like what happened, for example, in the last 6 months. And then we will ask what's the expected from the level 1, 2, and 3. We will talk about that more. And we will also like, what's the next step? If I am interested in research and I am willing to participate, what should I do? So this is the what we will talk about. And the main point also on the end, how to get a research idea. We will touch on that also. So the structure. So the core team of host mentorship is mainly medical students. Like these are the core team. The main job is done through medical students. Although there is different level of medical students, maybe there is level 1. We will talk about that also, that there's no research base for them, like they didn't do anything of research. Level 2, which they may have some publication, they did some research, and level 3, which is the which is the most experienced one in medical students. So there is a research idea. Okay, so medical student write that research, and it goes to another medical student more involved and more experienced. Then it go to Dr. Hose. Okay, Dr. Hose will give back his feedback and his review, his comments, and what's suggested for this paper or for this manuscript, what edits it's need. Then it go back to Dr. Hose. That's the loop. It may going like that until the best version of this research is get. This is the idea here. We keep doing the review. Then it goes to the journal, last thing. And after the journal, there is another process. The reviewer is getting back. We will do the reviewer comments and come back, or is rejected. We send for another journal, and so on. So this is in a simple way what's going on behind the scene of publication. So, for example, I am interested. Okay, what are the domains that can you provide me? Like, is that is legitimate question you can ask? So first, vascular, that's the main part in host mentorship or host team research. Then trauma, this is the second domain. Third, which is less, this is the tumors and the oncology part. And also the others. The others, these are included different kind of articles, like in education. You may notice, like last 2 days, we published 2 articles mainly related to education, or sometimes in history, or some of neurosurgery, for example, in Iraq, and any other domains, like it's not strictly scientific, but it is in the mainly social science, let's say. So, okay, so what you did in the last 6 months, 6 months, for example, what we did in the last 6 months, like there is 80 research or total work, research or chapters that were done. 45 is research projects, 35 is chapters in book. So what are the subtypes of them? So only 35 projects were done in the last 3 months only. Okay, so these include 16 case reports and 8 original articles and 14 including an editorial and letter to editors and 7 review articles. These are the main statistics that happened in the 6 months. That's our production. Yeah. So what's expected from? Some of you may never know about research, so that will be level 1. Some of you have an experience, that's level 2. Some more experience, that's level 3. Why need these? Why do we need this classification? We need this classification to ask what's next for you, if you can join us. This is a table that we did in the last month, where we distribute the main ideas and research for medical students. If you can see their names here, these just a distribution. Then we expect from them, like within a week, the first draft is completed. So if you level 1, you will get a paper, or you get an idea that's more suited for you, which is most likely it will be a case report. Okay, if it's level 2, it may you get a letter, or may you get an original article. Level 3, yeah, review article, original articles may be more suited. So this is a general idea. You know your place, and you know what's expected from you, what you expect from us, and you expect from yourself in the next step. So the next step, yeah, it will be another distribution like this. So if you are interested and you want to join, at least you know where you are now, and you will get the idea or the research idea that's suited for you. That's the behind this slide. So yeah, I'll touch on a main point. So these are ideas, like where did they come from? Like if anyone like to join, like if you have a medical research idea from the panelists, if anyone want to share his experience, her experience, and how to get a research idea, if you can raise your hand, and we can have some discussion about that. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Hello, everyone. My name is Usama Bilal, a fourth-year medical student from RCSI Bahrain. So usually when it comes to making research ideas, the first step I usually do, I look into the literature and identify any gaps in the knowledge. And then like I look through other literature that's like similar to the first paper I've read. If there's an obvious gap, then that's one way you could actually address that gap. The easiest way you could address that gap is systematic reviews. And then you could actually publish something that's like PubMed index, and it's going to be cited a lot. Second thing, the second step that I usually take is I go to the hospital, and then I look into like the different surgical methods that they use. So let's say, for example, embolization of a meningioma. So people usually do it intraoperatively, or some people do it like before the surgery. So in that case, you're going to look into when they usually do it, if it's before or during the surgery. So that's like one way. These are like my 2 cents when it comes to research ideas.
Yeah, super. Like, yeah, that's, you touched on 2 main points. First, yeah, the literature. Second is the clinical. Yeah, so that's what we also do and more. So here, for example, you do surgery, and you after get the surgery done, or you got another discussion. That's what will we do with the Dr. Hoz after the surgery is done. And we may get multiple ideas, how to get some findings, some technical points, some maybe a review, or another process, like we can have a good research idea. Another point also in the neurointerventional world, it's not in the open, also in the endovascular. That's in the vascular part. And also we can emphasize more on the outpatient clinic. It's also important. And yeah, and the last thing, yeah, you can do a multiple collaboration with others, and they can provide you with ideas to discuss and to do more research. So yeah, thank you very much. And if you have any question, comments, please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mustafa. I like how summarized your talk is. When I see the objective, I expected that there is a many pathways should be covered, but as you do it, it's very nice, very perfect, and very easy even for anybody to get back to those slides to understand more the process. And yeah, I'm proud of what we are doing in general and what you present. And obviously there is a personal experience that you have, and I think the numbers are decent. I cannot say it's one of the best, but I think if these numbers are continuous numbers, yeah, they are decent and some process that people want to invest in. That's what I understand from the number of research. It's not about peak. It's not about a single author researches. It's about a process that continue. For the levels, people asking how if you can explain more about the levels. I think once you have this, we will have a separate session to distribute the articles. We call it distribute because we have already some ideas settled and we want to start writing it, and that's part of writing. We want to share it with the team. I would like to simplify this question in general, like for the levels, that if I have 3 students and I have an idea, let's say a case report, I will give the data for 2 of them. One of them, level 1, who doesn't know anything about research, like he didn't write research before, and the best thing to be with level 2, someone who already write at least 3 or 4 researches. So they write together and they learn from each other, sometimes many teams. And with the last experience that Mustafa shared with you, we made many teams of 4, like 3 of them level 1, 1 of them level 2. So they write together the idea, then get back to us. Level 3, let's say Mustafa and with me, and they present their writing. Then we can get either 2 direction. Either we give them comments and back to them to improve it, or we can take the article and improve it. So they have the full experience, and I think more and more research experience will be shared here in the future. But yeah, this is the general process of how we define the levels, and you can go from level to level according to your participation. It's that simple. Thank you, Mustafa. Actually, it's well said, very summarized. I want to listen if there is a comment or a question. Yeah, Ali Al-Askar.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello to everyone. Mustafa, thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
I have from the Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University. I want to ask you 2 questions actually. The first one is what time could an idea take to fully develop from your experience? And the second question is, could an idea be left out due to being unachievable or unsustainable or unsupported? And like basically, what makes the idea unachievable? Do you like for a smart mnemonic or what exactly?
Yeah. From my experience, like, for example, when Dr. Hoz suggests something, let's say, I remember like 4 months ago, we were talking about some an endovascular complication like occurring during the endovascular procedure of during the catheterization. Sometimes stenosis occur within the carotid artery, but in this instance, for example, we covered all the possible causes, but it's not sufficient for the explanation for this phenomenon. So we tried to dig more And we tried to dig more. We proposed like there is another factors maybe, because we didn't find any sufficient explanation. So we added an hypothesis, and we added a potential factors that may add to the stenosis in the carotid in this situation. So we tried that, and we wrote an article about that, and it got published. So how far can you push it? That's the main thing behind the idea. If stop at some point and you can add more, that's publishable, let's say, and it's highly publishable, let's say. If it's not, like for example, after that I pushed it more over, like we tried to do in another case, like we tried to do classification. Like I just sent to Dr. Hoz, I would like to do a classification about, it's some crazy idea about migration of the coil during the AVM coiling due to many factors, like sometimes the coil that we put in the feeder, sometimes it can migrate. But at the end, we found it is not a good idea. Just because the classification was first, it was based on an aneurysm classification. Also in the aneurysm, there is some migration. That's first, it is not so original for the AVM. And the second idea, it is, let's say, it's not the right time now, because for such a big idea, you need big collaboration. You need like big names, like someone, professor with 30 years experience in this situation. So we just postpone this idea. Maybe we'll get back later, but for this time, it's stopped. So these are the reason maybe get stopped. And sometimes you get an idea and you see it published somewhere. So yeah, either you find another way, like you add, for example, your personal experience or your country experience, and you can get it maybe publishable. But otherwise, if it is like you exhausted all the possibilities, then you said maybe it is not a good idea. That's my response.
So just to make clear, for the second question, it's mainly the methodology and the idea that it's heavily discussed among the researchers. Is that correct?
Among you said the methodology, there's ideas discussed, and I lost you there. Sorry.
So the methodology of the idea, if it's attainable or not, and if it's already been presented and discussed in the literature before.
Yeah, sometimes like you have to find a different angle if it is discussed in the literature. That's another point you can add. Another angle that's not yeah, if it is, you find it another way and you can make it more in your side, you can go this idea. If it is exhausted, like it's also covered this angle, yeah, maybe it is sometimes to find another idea. That's
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ali, for your question, and thank you, Mustafa, for your answer. I have like a surprise for you both. Like the next presentation will be about the question of Ali and the answer of Mustafa's because Mustafa didn't know the topic of the next presentation. I like to listen to his options, what he have in mind, and these are like very interesting. But yeah, the next presentation will be on this, like the other pathway, if it's not accepted or whatever. So I think Tiba will discuss this in her presentation, but your question is very brilliant. Your answer is very nice. And yeah, you give different perspective. Everyone can talk about his experience. I will comment on that later. Better to have these questions now. Yeah, Jafar.
Hello. Do I have to introduce myself again?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jaffer Sandwich from recently graduated 2022, a doctor from Kufa Medical School that is in Najaf, Iraq.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mustafa, for the presentation. I would like to ask whether the types of research methods. So you've mentioned a couple case studies. Well, what about the other types? Have you ever done a cross-section or such on? As well, my other question, have any of the team presented their findings and their researches in a conference as a poster or in a conference presentation? Of course, beside Dr. House himself, like any.
Thank you, Jaffer. Yeah, for the first question, like other types, yeah, if you find, I wrote 8 original articles. What I mean by original articles? Yeah, it may be case series, maybe cross-sectional study, maybe cohorts, or maybe case control. These are the mainly the methodology for the for maybe acceptable as original article, let's say, and may include others also. Yeah, for the cross-sectional, like we did a survey about the SNI Baghdad meetings, and it's now the SNI. Maybe it's will be published maybe next month. I don't know, but it's already accepted in the SNI. So that's an example for cross-sectional study. And the other point was, could you remind me? I just lost it.
The presentations other than
the presentation, like in last March, maybe it was done in presentation in Lebanon, where one of my colleagues, Zahra Majid, and others, they presented their work. Like Zahra Majid, for example, she presented one of the review article she wrote about cavernoma and masquerading another lesion. So yeah, that was a very good presentation. Like she did the first, she got the first best presenter, and she got the prize for that. Yeah, that's an example like it for other than Dr. Ho's presentations. Yeah.
Big thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaffer. I will get back to your question with Ali question from my point of view later. Yeah, Tabarak.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Tabarak, a fourth-year medical student from College of Medicine, University of Baghdad, Iraq. First of all, thank you, Mustafa Ali, for your great presentation. Unfortunately, I did not attend it from the first. So what I'm going to say is that just like a comment about from where the idea of research comes. Really is that there are different aspects for the idea of research. First of all, as you know, like as a surgeon with experience, whenever you encounter like a case that's special, maybe complicated, unusual presentation, you might want to share it so that in the future, if anyone encounter a case like that, he can return back to it, especially if there is no much about it in literatures or at least little, little explanations about it. The second thing is that about for original articles, it may come from like you encounter a patient with with a certain factors related to his disease. So the questions begin inside your head is like, is there any possibility that other patient will come with this the same stigma or others this sign? So you may do a cohort study to see if these patients are coming with the same test results or the same presentation. So it's a good idea. The other idea is that, for example, you have a condition and there are multiple interventions for it, for example, AVM. We have different interventions. So we might ask ourselves, what is the best intervention that I can do for my patient and lead to the best result? Here is the rule of systematic reviews, okay? So it just depends on our concerns, our questions, and just that. Thank you so much.
Yes. I would comment on Tabarak comment because I think it's very nice comments. However, I would suggest that these comments are pathways for ideas, more theoretical than practical. I would ask Tabarak that, okay,
Yeah.
if we have 3 different treatment of a disease,
Yeah.
how can we, or how can you now as a medical student
Yeah.
do a paper on that based on patients?
Really, I will look at literatures. I will look for each treatment, like if there is any research about individual treatment and what their outcomes for the patient. You know, I can't do for myself a study because I'm not treating patients, but I will look at literatures, see how much, you know, the confidence interval, the levels of success of this medication and the studies, and then I will collect them at all and see which is the better, which is recording the highest success. So in the future, I might apply it, taking into considerations, of course, the factors of the patient and other things. And yeah, I think I can decide from it.
Okay, I think you get my point, part of it, but the idea is that if we raise such random question based on observations, it's a good idea, but the mortality rate is very high. I mean, out of 100 idea, one of them may be really useful to patients. The other part of the story, it's the same example that you make. I will continue with that. If you have a person who have experience in a treatment and those patients, and he has this question based on his practice, that will be the real idea out of 100. And if you are the medical student that you are working with let's say one of the pioneer in some of the surgeries, that's the productive phase of research. If you get my point, I agree with you 100%, but that's the difference between a productive ideas that have real impact, because it's based on both the scientific way that you describe perfectly, plus the consolidation of your question. What I want to say is that I will ask you for questions that you have in mind during any experience or any case that we have. Then I will add a percent. So you should understand the importance of that percent, that the probability of this idea is how much it's good or how much it makes sense. That's a huge difference. This is related also to some comment that, yeah, you can go and search for defect in literature, do systematic review. I doubt it will be on a consistent topic. I doubt it will be of value in a specific topic. In general, they are, as Osama said, the target of systematic review, two type. Type is based on real practice, and type based on just observation of defect. The point is that both of these are correct. Both of these are doable. However, the thing that is more important, science-based, patient-based, is to collaborate both effort, is to collaborate your intention as a medical student or as a new doctor to conduct research with the experience. And that's what we perform on daily work, because at the end, you need something relevant to the patient, or you need something relevant to the practice that you may find, that you may take in the future. If you get my point, that I agree with all what you said, because like anybody in research understand the level of research and the requirement, how to get an idea. But I just want to differentiate what is doable everywhere and what is unique. That's the difference. That's the quality of work. Do you get my point?
Yeah, thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to go to the next presentation. I will take Osama question. Yeah, I hope it's rapid. Then we go to the next presentation.
It's a very quick question. So first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa, for the presentation. I couldn't help but notice in one of the slides, it only mentioned like level 1 and level 2 on the Excel sheet. Do the level 3 students or researchers supervise the research papers that are being done? Or what's their role exactly?
Yeah, you can answer, Mustafa, if you want. Mustafa, are you there? I will. Yeah, Mustafa, do you get Osama question?
Actually, no, it's just
What do you
temporary,
mean by level 3? Basically, it's what do you mean by level 3?
Okay, level 3, like you at least let's put a number for that. You did at least 20 articles between, let's say, writing and reviewing, but majority is writing. That's simply that, with the variety of these articles. That's simply as that.
Yeah, I would add, so much. I would add, you are welcome, Osama. I would add the term improvement. That's because I think, Osama, if you have experience with that, or you observe some people doing this, most of the papers, like someone is doing the paper, the other supervise it, but still need another look, another eye, a fresh eye, but a fresh eye with pulled up sleeves, that a person want to be dedicated to this article, read it from the from zero, and go to the reference and try to improve the article as much as possible to be publishable. That part is very critical. I think that's the category that's unique. And yeah, the more you have such people, the more you will produce a good article.
Thank you again, Dr. Hoz.
Thank you, Osama, and thank you, Mustafa, for a presentation. A presentation that is not long in time and generates many questions. For me, I should congratulate for you for that. Thank you. Now, Tabarak. Tabarak, she's one of the medical student, and she has an idea. It's related to some people question here, and yeah, you have the stage, Tabarak. You can start.
Well, first of all, I'm Tayyiba, not Tabarak, but that's okay.
Tayyiba, not Tabarak.
Okay.
I always have this mismatch, isn't it?
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Mustafa, for your presentation. I believe it's very insightful and it's very inspirational for those who are interested in research, for medical students or interns or whatever. I'll talk about something. I promise it's related. Don't be fooled by the first slide. I'll talk about cold cases. And if you know criminology and crime series and TV shows, you would know what cold cases are. If you don't, I'll tell you. It's basically the unsolved criminal investigations that remain open until the discovery of new evidence. So basically, the investigators try to work on a case. They find no enough evidence to solve it, so they put it in a file, call it a cold case, and put it on such shelf in a box like this until new evidence comes so they can solve it. And today I'll be talking about cold cases in the perspective from our team's publications. I'm Tayyiba Al-Ajili. I'm a fifth-year medical student in the University of Baghdad, Iraq. And we'll start by giving you a small scenario in which you are interested in research, you had a good idea, you started to work on the idea with a good team, you put enough time, you put enough effort into it, you formed a good research project, you have a good result, and you submit it to a certain journal. You are hopeful, you are very optimistic about it, and you wait for the answer, and the answer comes back and it's rejection. That could be very sad to face for any researcher at any point. But what we're trying to do, not to put you down, of course, we're trying to show you the two aspects of it. I think Mustafa gave you the bright side, and I'm trying to shed light on the other side. It's not the dark side, I'll tell you that much. but we're trying to give you a reality check. We're not going to go into the details of why or causes of rejection by journals, because we already have a team working on such projects led by, I think, my colleague Ibrahim, and they will give you a good presentation about that. It will be very interesting. Now, cold cases from our team's perspectives, they can have potential pathways, many different numerous potential pathways, but we're gonna talk about 3 main potential pathways, starting with experience, because obviously as you start working on any project from the very beginning to the end, and I mean beyond the submission, whether by acceptance or by rejection, you will learn a lot just by the experience. You will know your strengths, your weaknesses, and know what you're good at in the next project. Second potential pathway is patients, and the third is modifications. And I'm not talking about them in details now because we're going to talk about them in examples. So first of all, we have patients. And for patients, we have some project that was started by Dr. Hos and the team a few years ago as one case that raises suspicion of urgent brain tumor resection surgery 1 to 2. And this one case started a question, and that question led to a little bit of controversy, as brain tumors are not usually associated with urgent intervention or urgent brain surgery. So when that question was raised and analysis was done on the patients that they have in the hospital back then, it was faced by a lot of rejection by, let's say, social media aspects of it, other surgeons and such. They did not agree with the idea that much. The idea was left on hold, or as a cold case, let's say, and it was initially developed more into a few years later, they started to work on it more, they presented it, or they published it as an abstract in a conference, and they did an analysis of much more cases, almost 50 cases, which resulted in this table that you see here. This table is basically a criteria system or a scoring system for patients who undergo urgent brain surgery. This is an amazing, and I think it's very, very unique result that they came up with. At the end, it was submitted as for many journals, and it was also rejected. As unique as it is, it was rejected. So a few years later, they worked back on the idea, they modified, they changed, and then it was published as a letter to editor in the Surgical Neurology International Journal as the title, and I want you to focus on that. Supratentorial brain tumors, are there indications for urgent resection? You can see that there is a shift in the title from the initial idea. It's more of a suggestion now. It's more of a, because it's, as I said, it's very controversial. It's not well accepted, and it has been rejected many times. So the idea is more of a suggestion now. And an interesting part is that this criteria system was not actually involved in the published letter to editor, but the idea is that the main idea got out, and there will be build up on it. We can make use of the results that we find throughout the years. Why is this an example of patients? Because, well, the first analysis was done in 2014, 2016. Second analysis and conference was in 2017, and the actual publication was, believe it or not, 2021. So if that's not an example for patients, I don't know what is. Now, we'll talk about the other example about modifications. And this is another project was done by Dr. Hoth and the team. Essentially what they did is that they did a basically training project or a training study on non-living sheep cranium, and they tried to do microsurgical approaches in the pineal region. This is very interesting and very special because the pineal approaches or pineal region cases are very rarely faced in residency, and the training for it is also very rare. So this was a very interesting study. And the other thing that was very, very good about this study, that the simulation was very accurate and lifelike. As if you can imagine, the cranium of a sheep was very similar in size to the cranium of the pediatric age group, in which the basically the pineal region, basically the pineal region approaches are used mostly on that age group. So it was very lifelike. It was very a good simulation, let's say. The surprise that this article, as strong as it is, it was rejected by multiple American journals, by multiple neurosurgical journals with good reputation. and it was rejected for almost 40 times. This is a huge number, I think you can imagine. And anyone who would work on such thing and put so much hard work on it and see such number, they would get, put down and think, okay, that's done. The idea is done, right? You can imagine that the team did not give up on the idea. And then they said, let's turn it into a book. And this was the actual plan for the book, the all chapters and what they would include. So this is the initial plan for the book. And now the book is published as Pineal Neurosurgery. And what's interesting is that it actually had the same idea that initially started the whole project in it. So they not only they published their idea, but they expanded on it. They made it a whole lot of book. So you can see that they modified until it became a whole book. This is very not expected, but it is very a beautiful ending, let's say. Now, I'm done with the examples. Before I end my presentation, I want to thank Dr. Host for giving me the opportunity to tell you those stories, because I was not a part of those projects. I did not contribute. I hope I did a decent job in giving you an idea of what rejection could be and how could it be faced. And I'm not trying to, the main message is not trying to put you down. As I said, it's to state that rejection is not the end of the world. You can move your way around it, and you can do such amazing things if you, well, first you need to maintain a good attitude, and two, you need to believe in your idea. And I believe I want to also add some good news, because I gave you a lot of bad news, is that the team has worked on many projects ever since, and the rejection rate is much less now than it was before, as those projects were at the start of their research project journey, let's say. So yes, we should also be hopeful. We should not be pessimists. And I think that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiba. I think their name is correct now. Thank you, Tiba, for the presentation. It's very nice. For me, this is just an answer for many of your colleague questions, because yeah, for who's asking about the ideas, and this is an answer. Like it's a simple phone call. Tiba, ask this question, like how we should describe some like other perspective about research, what about the rejected research, about how the rejected research will go to the next steps, and some example. And within, I think within 15 minutes, we decide everything about, we discuss many perspective, and she decide she will make it a full presentation. And from this point, this presentation will go to be a paper as an opinion, and to search more about literature from other even specialties, because it's just open. It's about research. However, we can go through our experience, because that will make the content of the paper more original. It depends on our personal experience. I like the idea initially, and now you make it very good, understandable, I think, with the more clear pathway. Thank you for your presentation. If you have any questions, comments, Ali, do you find some of the answers in this? Ali, I'll ask her.
Yes, of course. I've found it very helpful. The amount and steps that goes beyond the idea, the formulation of the idea, is really interesting, and it's really scary to think about rejection. But now she's given me the clear point about what's the communication, how to accept it, and so on and so forth. So very helpful. Thank you, Taib.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you. Osama, do you have a question?
Yes. So it's more of a comment. Thank you so much, Taiba, for the presentation. Actually, like, it resonated a lot with me, because whenever I submit a paper to a journal, they almost it's either a rejection or telling you they give you the comments, and then once you go through the comments and then edit everything, like your paper becomes a completely different thing. Like it veers off way too much from like your original aim. So it's like I found this funny, and for like all the medical students on this Zoom call to actually like be aware of.
Thank you, Osama, for your comment.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Osama, you're correct. Like it's an experience. With the time, you can like put a rank for the idea from initial point, then you re-ranked the article after it's written, because that's what we are doing on every day. Like sometimes very good idea when they are in a paper, oh now it's different. Sometimes it's, oh, this is very good, now let's go to the next level. Sometimes no, once it's written, there is a huge similar evidence and it's less likely to be a good article or unique one. But based on our work, I can say something that it's never like there is no an end to any let's say war and there is a continuous fight. I can guarantee up to 95% of any article that we are starting now, I can guarantee it will be published because of this let's say flexibility and modification experience. We can modify any article, we can change the idea, how we change it, what are the possibilities. We have many things. I'm still answering from the writing perspective. I'm not answering from journal perspective. That's a total different topic, that if it's not this journal, where I should go. I'm not discussing the journal. I'm discussing the same idea that sometimes it's rejected many times. This means that it's nice, but the evidence is not there. What I should do. There is like 100 of options that we can go for each article. At the end, it will be published. I can tell up to 95%, no 100% guarantee. But yeah, this is very good because when we reach this level, from that I start to listen to every student idea as a real idea. Take our time once it's registered as an idea for article, because I will take it seriously until it's published. Thank you, Jafar, for your question. And Nicola.
Yeah, thank you, Tiba, for your presentation. And mine also is a comment. And because I've been doing research now for more than a year, and I really remember the first time, like maybe the first 5 or 6 months, it was all the articles rejected. So I think it's really a learning pathway. And one really important thing that I would like to stress is that research is also not only about getting the paper published, but it's also what you're learning along the way. Because with every paper, you study more, you learn more, and it's something that it's your knowledge that's improving along with your research publications. So I think you need to try, to fail, to improve, and then eventually to succeed.
Thank you, Nicola. I totally agree.
Yeah, this is the first pathway. At least there is experience. I agree too. Tabarak, do you have a comment?
Yeah, Doctor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiba, for your presentation. My question is that, is there any criteria for the rejection?
Do you want me to take this one, Dr. Host?
Like this is a large question. From which perspective? Criteria for what? There is a criteria for acceptance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it.
If the article doesn't match this criteria, so it's rejected. So we are talking about the the rejection. I think Tabarak, you will see maybe in 2 more, like next week there is maybe a presentation about the same maybe term as a rejection, but from totally different perspective, which is maybe related to this, which is what are the possible causes? Maybe related to your question, because that presentation is based on a research that's conducting now based on all our paper that are rejected. We get our rejected paper and we consider these as a data and start to analyze these. What are the causes, categories of rejection, the timing, the percent of rejection from the early years, and with this year, the effect of experience on rejection. And yeah, I think that will give some answer. And
Yes.
yeah, but this is I should say that you may notice or you may not, but those who have experience and research, they know exactly that this experience is rarely to be shared. People not sharing their failures, people not giving this experience just for free for everybody. And I think that's what I want to do here, is just to have the spark. We are not the big researcher, we are not one of the best institution for research, but yeah, let's do it and let's enjoy it together. Nicola is there, Ali is there, Osama is there. They have the same experience, and we are exactly sharing with them at the same time. This is how we failed. This is how we managed to overcome failure, and yeah, try to skip these. I think that's one of the most important lesson, to observe the complications and the failures of other and learn from them. I think it's very famous. All of us know the importance of this concept. However, now we are doing this on practice. Like, this is the practical example we are describing. It's not easy to share it online. That yeah, these are the papers. Like actually, the pineal book. This is one of the secrets. Like, what's my relation to the pineal surgery? I'm more interested in vascular. Yeah, but initially, this is the example, just an idea, very unique, and we know it's unique. We fight with every journal possible. At the end, okay, it's not publishable, so let's do it a book.
It's really wonderful idea. It's really wonderful, and if you made that article, it may be accepted. Really, if you collect all of these data, maybe this failure can be turned into success. It's really wonderful to share or failure, to learn from it, because what is the point of hiding it, keeping it hidden like that? There's no really benefit from it. So it's a really wonderful idea. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for your question. Thank you, Tiba, again for the presentation. As I said to Mustafa, I would like to comment on this, because I know you do the preparation as the presentation of Mustafa. I don't touch a preparation. I don't explain deep, or I don't judge your presentations. You do it from A to Z. I just discuss the ideas. So when I see what you present now, it's very nice, very short, concise, effective, and raising many questions. And I think it's answering many questions, not a full answer. I cannot say this is a full answer, but yeah, this is just a plan to put more and more answer to the same questions. What if a paper failed? So thank you. I would go to the third presentation, then I will go to video. I don't know if Fatima Ade is here.
Yes, Ami.
Fatima.
Hello.
Yeah, you can go share and introduce yourself and take us in a journey a little bit away from this research topic.
Is my screen clear for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So hello everyone. I am Fatma Ade, a final year medical student. at Al University in Baghdad. Actually, today I'm sharing with you my journey with neurosurgery. So the title is Neurosurgery in the Eyes of a Medical Student. So with this presentation, what I really want to do is let you see the neurosurgery the way I saw it. So I saw the neurosurgery in the eyes of a fresh medical student, just joined the neurosurgical program. Also, I saw it through participating in publications and research. I saw it through attending operations. And lastly, I get the chance to observe the international aspect of neurosurgery. So I joined the team actually since 2019 when I just finished my second year of medical school. So the real why of I joined this mentorship, it was because to satisfy my curiosity about knowing more about the complexity of the human brain. So before I tell you what I did learn in this mentorship and what we really did, I want to tell you that this mentorship actually was a big opportunity, and it opened a lot of doors for me. From this mentorship, I get to know our great mentor, Dr. Samer, and also I get to know my exceptional colleagues. I believe you already met a lot of them by now. Also, I met a lot of brilliant neurosurgeon like Dr. Haidar, Dr. Aufa, Dr. Muhammad, and Dr. Muthanna. Also, I get the chance to know about and meet a lot of brilliant medical students from the later mentorship. So, starting with the very basic and the core of a neurosurgery, the anatomy. Actually, we did learn the anatomy through drawings, also through lab specimen and through imaging, especially CT scan. So the learning and teaching process was contributed by the neurosurgeon, the resident, and also by us, the medical student. Then we get to know the anatomy in a high level and actually see the charm of using our hand. So this stimulation on doing the drilling on the eggshell and also doing a craniectomy on the sheep head cadavers. Actually, the way I held the instrument and the art of using it actually is something I never forget, and I believe it's well kept somewhere in my motor memory. So other thing I did in this mentorship, I spent actually 2 night calls with the neurosurgical team. So one actually was before. One was during this mentorship, and the other was after it. So it seems like a most exciting part, but actually it wasn't regarding the cases. One case was ICH, and the other case was traumatic injury. Actually, it was a bullet injury. So, however, in this night calls, I enjoyed the preoperative planning when the neurosurgeon gathers and discuss the best option for treatment of the patient. Other thing, we get the chance to visit the neuro ICU actually multiple times, not only in the night calls, but actually most importantly in the post-operative period. Where and after after we finish the surgery, we go to the neuro ICU and get assured about the patient condition, and actually we get some privilege to keep a track on the vitals of the patient using the messenger group of the hospital. So we get to know the patient condition until the patient discharge. Meeting the patient, actually, we spend a lot of time in the emergency department, in the clinic, and in surgery. But most importantly, I wanted to tell you that the doctor-patient relationship is something was so beneficial for me, and especially on the long term. So at the end of this mentorship, it was a new start for a new era for most of us. For me, I attend from time to time some surgery, and for the most of us, we enter the research world. So another I observed the neurosurgery through it was through projects and publication. So my first project was the neuroplastic project. We did it, we started in the COVID era. We are a team of medical students interested in neurosurgery and in plastic surgery with the neurosurgeons and a plastic surgeon. So the aim of this project was to combine the perspectives of neurosurgery and the plastic surgery in the management of scalp defect. So we started this project with our first presentation. It was an interactive presentation presented by me and by my colleague. The first part, I discussed the more detailed anatomy about the scalp flaps, and then proceed to a brief discussion about the common flaps and approaches in neurosurgery. Then my friend discussed the scalp flaps from the plastic perspective, and also she explained it according to the size and site of the defect. We present this on a neurosurgical TV, and from this project, for research emerged, and we are now working on it. We get the chance to present actually one of them, the supraorbital artery, from neurosurgical application approaches and procedures. We presented with the SNI meetings. I have two published articles. One is the upside down anatomy with the British Journal of Neurosurgery, and the other is the highlights of the 15th SNI meeting from a participant perspectives. It was recently published with the SNI. So I get the chance to be involved in books. I get the chance to involve in this chapter, principal and initial assessment in neurotrauma of the spinal neurotrauma, in the neurotrauma book by Dr. House. This aspect of neurosurgery is, I considered, it's where I get a lot of maturation in this aspect, especially. And in fact, this maturation of my experience, it really came from the involvement with a real team. So, starting with the open brain surgery, as I told you, we start attending the surgeries from the beginning of the mentorship. So I totally attend 15 surgery and assisted as a first assistant in nearly 3 of them. The first 2 was during the night calls. So this is the case of the ICH I told you about. Actually, it is the first case where I touched the brain for the first time. And the other was the trauma patient, the bullet trauma patient. I assist in hemostasis and suturing and holding the second. Okay, but the really case I really want to tell you about is this case. I attended when I was in my 5th year, so I really considered I consider it was one of the most important opportunity I've ever get in my life, actually. So now you can see me opening the skin and then dissecting the muscle, then doing some drilling, and then cutting through the bone. I don't know if the video works.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. And lastly, I get to do a small cut in the dura. So actually, it was one of the most cases that I won't forget ever, actually. So, okay. Now for an extra exciting part with the brain catheterization. Actually, I considered this part by itself. It's like a success story, actually not only for me. So all started when I start my 5th year of medical school. So actually this day is the last day before the college starts. So I came to explore another aspect of neurosurgery. So I came with my friend actually, and when we arrived, Dr. House explained us the procedure and draw for us the related anatomy of the aortic arch, and also did and tell us about what is the catheter and what is the guide wire, and did a simple stimulation on how we navigated, on how we use it. Okay, also we took some pictures that day. Then we reviewed the cases. Actually, I remember it's one of the longest days I spent in the catheterization. So yes, what happened that day that I was observing from behind, and when that day finished, actually, I told my friend, okay, I think I want to do this more times. So that's what I tell Dr. Hose. And yes, that's when I spent to come regularly to the center of brain catheterization. So yes, so after several days of commitment, okay, and regularly attending with the team, and doing little stuff here and there. Like in the post-catheterization care of the patient, they decided to get me to a higher level. So here were Dr. Alpha and Aktham actually teach me how to move the table and the C-arm. So for those who don't know, the catheterization is when we color the vessels of the brain using the catheter, and we need an imaging system to display all that. So this is the table that we will move, and this is the C-arm. So this was my place here, controlling the movement of the table and the C-arm. Okay, so yes, they teach me that when the room empty and the team finish all the cases, they explain that to me. And actually, when we get the chance and there is a low number of cases, actually we make me try it by myself. So yes, until a moment came when Dr. Haider actually really gave me the opportunity to apply that during his case. Actually, it was like performing under stress part, but actually it went all for well. Yes, actually, this was amazing opportunity I get. Then I did this for a period of time. Okay, when, as I tell you, when it's possible and when it's applicable, they use my help until another moment of truth came, and it was one of the days when actually there was a load in the neurosurgical hospital. So they actually need my help. So yes, this is where I experienced actually a full where I was in charge, and actually I did it all by myself. Yes, so it is one of the moments I really won't forget. It's also like was performing under stress, but again, it went all for well. So yes, and after mastering all this, I get chances to do mini puncture, femoral puncture, and also I did some of the parts of the catheterization procedure. Playing you this video.
Yes, it's plain.
Okay. Other parts actually I liked about this period is I took some responsibility in teaching the new student who were coming to see the catheterization. Actually, I was drawing them the same drawings that Dr. Ho's drawing us this first day and do this stimulation. Actually, this experience was like a life-changing experience for me. In total, I did 56 endovascular procedures and assisted nearly in 20 of them. Yes, and all that couldn't be done without the team. So, okay, now for the last part, I won't actually talk a lot about this part, but to tell you that how I speculate the neurosurgery from all these aspects. So this conference actually was a good chance for me as a medical student to observe the international level of neurosurgery. Sorry. Okay. So in this the presentations that we heard from the international neurosurgeons was mind-blowing, and it's like force you to think about your future career and think more about the subspecialty. So yes, actually, it was a period of time when I really think about my future and what I wanna really do in the next few years. But I'm really proud of is how we present our team. I really felt the real spirit of the team that days. So another important thing I want to tell you that it's also important to learn from the maturation of your colleagues. Actually, Mustafa and Zahra Amin and Zahra Majid give their presentation and explain their research. Actually, it was a good chance for me. It gave me a little confidence. So I'm really thinking about that in the future. So this is actually a special moment that I really want to share with you. It was like a surprise from Dr. Hawes in the last part of his presentation. So I'm playing this video for you.
Oh, there is no sound.
Still no sound?
Yeah, it will not be shared as a sound. You can comment on it.
Okay. So, Dr. Hawes make a special slide in his presentation for each one of us. Actually, it was one of the most precious moment I really have. And what's make it more special is like when he did all that and tell the audience about all what I did and all this long journey and all this publication. What was really special is my dad was sitting near me, and actually not just him, we were really happy about that. So okay, so as I tell you, all this was not just my success story. It was our success story, because without the contribution of my mentors and my colleagues, I don't believe I'll get this far. And last, what I want to share, it's not the load who break you, it's the way you carry it. Actually, I think when you find the right thing, it will find a way to work out. So yes, and that's what really happened to me actually through the last year. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your listening, and I'm really thankful for all my mentors and all my colleagues. You really helped me a lot through this journey, and yes, thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Fatma. I think, yeah, this is some point are similar to some of the previous talk, but now you give a more advanced, and I think time-wise, you spent like 3 years or more exploring neurosurgery. That's what I see from your presentation. It's very nice. And yeah, I remember your presentation in Lebanon, in Beirut, and when the presentation about you, yeah. And when I say that now Fatma is opening the skin of the patient and I am assisting her, then Fatma is drilling the head of patient and I'm praying for the patient health. Yeah. Actually, very, very nice experience. What I should say, my feeling now is I'm definitely proud of you. And this is like a message for everybody, like why we are doing this, because of what Fatma just present. This is a sense of proudness that for me, it's equal to a good patient outcome. Thank you, Fatma, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Any comment from the audience? Yeah, Bakr.
Hello, Dr. Samer. I'm Bakr Mohammed, medical student at Nahran University, Baghdad, Iraq, third stage. I have some question to Dr. Fatma. Have you get some difficulties in your first mentorship when you finished the second year and the medical student have difficulty in understanding some information, some disease, some cases that the other doctor in the mentorship share with you?
Yes, of course, I experienced that difficulty, but actually when you start to read it and study it in a more simple way and explain it little by little, and actually you will resolve this difficulty. But actually it's, yes, a normal thing to feel this difficulty, and when we are just in the beginning of our medical student, like second year or third year.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Bakr. Yeah, I understand your point, and yeah, I agree with you. Just get the experience. Don't focus on the exact information. You will get it easy once you have a decision whether you are going to do research, you are going to observe surgeries, you are going to do activity and presentation. And I think Fatma now is like getting all together the full experience. And for me, it's like a shopping mall rather than a presentation. You can go through this presentation and you say, I want to do this, I want to do this. Yeah, so I understand. Yeah, Noor Majid.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Noor Majid Agar from Iraq, a fourth stage at Nahran University. First of all, thanks Fatma for a great presentation. I remember the first time I saw Fatma, she was very, very, very helpful. And when I talked to her and I need some advice about neurosurgery, she called me and we spent a lot of time to advise me. And I haven't any question, and thank you again.
Thank you so much, Noor. I really remember that. Thank you. And I think it's really my duty for helping you. And when also in the future will be yours to help others. Thank you so much for your kind comment.
Yeah. I will take a Sadim question first.
Yes, hello. My name is Sadim Al-Blahed from Al Faisal University in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I like how starting early is very important because it builds your confidence. And I think for a surgeon, a neurosurgeon in specific, confidence is very important. You cannot start practicing or getting into residency being scared. So I think, and I'm very proud of you starting this early. Being confident, building your confidence, building relationships is crucial. And I thank Dr. Samer also for giving this opportunity to you. It's a very great example to see.
Thank you so much, Sadim, and I totally agree with you on that.
Thank you. Actually, Sadim, yeah, after you see Fatma presentation, I think the residency will be scared from Fatma. and that's very important. This is a sign of good preparation. Like if you are well prepared, people will already have some statistic about you and already have some confidence with you. So that's a good thing to start. And yeah, thank you for your comment. Any comment or question more on Fatma? I will wait for a comment, but before I will say the following, that what I remember from Fatma, 2 points. The first point is that one, like it's a normal pathway for many of our students. The one big change is the day that she came to me and say that I want to be there it was every Thursday. Maybe we are operating many endovascular cases, so I will be here every Thursday. And that was during some exams in her college. And I say, are you sure? She said, yeah. And from that point, she attended like 10 more days. And I think those days make the huge difference, change Fatma from just a medical student interested into, I think, half a surgeon. And now it's ready to go. Even now, she's not a resident yet. I think if she wants to decide to go to neurology, let's say, she will be 100% ready for any part, because she exploring many parts of the pathway to go through any branch in neurosurgery in general. So that's a huge point, I think. And the second point is that from that time, we have like many students, at least 4 or 5, attending every procedure, every day for a procedure. So one of the tasks, okay, go at 8 a.m. to the hospital, you will meet Fatma, Fatma, you will explain to you about the procedure, about the anatomy, 1 hour, and at 9 a.m. I will be there and we will start doing the procedure. So this is a part of, let's say, a sub-mentorship. And I'm thinking like when she's giving the presentation, I already put sub-mentorship as a title of a paper. I will try to do it with you and some of the students here to do, yeah, because I think this is a different experience. It's a real example of sub-mentorship. So thank you. Yeah, Al-Kauthar.
Hello, everyone. I am Al-Kauthar from Azerbaijan Medical University in Baku, Azerbaijan. I first participated in the previous mentorship, and I really want to thank Fatima for her presentation. I think it's constructional and panoramic. It summarizes all the years in minutes, and I'm sure we all admire to be like you one day. And thanks, Dr. Hus.
Thank you so much, Kauthar.
Thank you. You'll be better, definitely.
Inshallah.
Each generation have the chance to be better than the previous generation. If we, that's the general idea. If we are good, we will make our student better than us, because you have a different condition and circumstances, and we can make you skip some of the steps that we kept. We are already have a huge struggle in these steps, so just support people going through already known obstacles will give you a huge like pathway for success. I think it depends on that's the bottom line. It depends on your perspective. It depends on what you want to achieve. That will be the end, like the title that we work on. Thank you, Al-Kauthar, and thank you, Fatma, for this presentation. If we don't have more comment, I will go through the next. I will present more videos, and then I want to talk just 5 points about this meeting and this research. Kauthar, you can lower your hand. Yeah. So if you have any question when I'm trying to share the video, you can ask now while I'm getting the video out. It just escaped. I need a volunteer with the video just to operate together. Yeah, I need more hands up. Don't be scared. Sorry. Yeah, that's a good number of questions. Well, I will take the new name first. Mustafa Hikmet Hajar and Arwa, if you are there. And Osama Nicola Taha Muhammad Amara, I will keep you to the next level with Ali. If it's difficult question, I will ask you. And let's go through this. I will take Mustafa Hajar and Arwa to this case. Let's do it's maybe a simple case. I just want to go to the video directly, sorry. So is the screen shared now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the three name can you describe? I want just the city. Just don't be afraid. I'm just want to describe the city. Anyone?
Is my voice clear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Mustafa Hikmat Al-Jabri from Baghdad Medical College. I just graduated, okay, this year. First, when I would try to describe this city, I can see a cystic lesion. Yes, a cystic lesion with hyperdense area, and mixed hyperdense and hypodense and isodense areas. Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. It's a cystic lesion, hyper and hypodense area. I can add it's in the left side,
Yes.
between maybe frontal and temporal. Let's say this. The next question: why there is no surrounding edema? There is no shift with such huge mass.
Maybe there is a connection with the arachnoid space, so the CSF will be more distributed. I don't know really.
Okay, so it's a nice idea that if it's connected to somewhere, so it will not enlarge. But is that a density of CSF?
No, I don't think. No.
Yeah, so this is the CSF, so it's not a CSF containing cyst. Another suggestion? Arwa, Hajar.
This is a ring enhanced lesion, and I think it's abscess.
Who's talking? I didn't know.
Hajar.
Okay, a ring enhancing lesion and what? Sorry, I missed the second part.
I think it's abscess.
Okay, so ring enhancing lesion means that when you give contrast, the ring will appear in the wall of the thing, of the cyst, whatever. And this is non-contrast CT scan. This is number one. Number two, abscess, as we said in the previous presentation, the most important part of abscess is that the edema is more than the size of the mass. So basically it's not abscess. Let's think more again. The question is that this large size mass, why doesn't cause edema that equivalent to the size? Even if you see the MRI for the same case, this is the mass and the brain is just pushed a little bit. It's just like there is no real edema. Any suggestion from those who raise their hands?
Yeah, tumor.
Tumor, this is Hajar again?
Yes.
Yeah, a tumor again. If it's a secondary tumor, it will cause a huge edema. Primary tumor, maybe. What do you expect this to be a primary tumor? Do you have any idea? Like maybe if you say a benign primary tumor, I will agree with you. You are correct as a differential diagnosis. Let's ask you this. Is there another possibility?
I don't know.
Okay. Any other suggestion from those who raise their hands?
So is the question now which type of perhaps benign tumor, or is it suggestion why is there
differential diagnosis? We are discussing differential diagnosis. What are the possible things just to have in mind from CT scan? The first, Hajar describe a tumor, and I suggest a benign tumor. What are the other possibilities?
So perhaps could it be a hydatid?
Maybe. And the hydatid usually has a fluid inside, but this is similar to the brain thickness, so it's not a fluid more. I can say if you say it's infection, so we will go again to the, if it's infection, why not edema? If you say a specific type of infection like hydatid doesn't cause edema. So that's a point with, goes with your suggestion. But again, hydatid should be a cyst. This is not a real cyst. There is no fluid inside. If we go, let's take it to the another level. Like the MRI here is the axial MRI, T1, and basically T1 is very similar to the CT scan. And then we go to the T2. However, this is sagittal section, but the T2 give you the idea that the T2 difference from T1. I will get this on MRI lecture later, but in T2 view of MRI, you will see the CSF as a white, or actually any fluid will be white, whether it's the eye fluid or it's the CSF. Okay, so you can notice that the content of the cyst is not a fluid yet. Okay, so it's not a CSF. It's, yeah.
Could it be a carcinoma of the choroid plexus because of the location?
A choroid plexus located usually inside the ventricle.
Yeah, I know it's in the lateral and the third one, but I don't know. Maybe I just like come into my mind.
Yeah, that's good point to raise. That what is the location? The location from the CT is difficult to judge. It looks like between frontal and temporal, but if you compare with the other side, it will be here. And what's that? This is the largest sulcus of the brain, and this is the Sylvian fissure. So it's basically located in the Sylvian, and you can confirm that through the MRI. This is the same thing, the same sulcus on the right side, while on the left side, the sulcus is filled with this mass. This means that this is a mass located more in the sulcus, I mean in the subarachnoid space. The idea is not to get to the exact diagnosis, because it's just a high level of like a neuroradiology, but just to generate idea, to test our knowledge. What are the possibilities? What we have in mind as an information, a solid information. That's why I give example and we go through it. Any other suggestion before I go to the next step?
Can it be an aneurysm?
Who's
Taha, can it be an aneurysm?
The same question. If it's aneurysm, why it's two colors?
Maybe it could be a thrombosed giant aneurysm.
Who's saying this?
Osama.
Yeah. Yeah, both of you are correct. So Taha described it as aneurysm, and the main indication that this lesion is aneurysm is that I am the presenting of this case. like you can suspect vascular more. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's not aneurysm like a differential. I would say that it should be a benign lesion, or like a tumor, or should be a congenital lesion, something that's already with the brain from the start and it grows very, very, very slowly, that cause no edema around it. This is the message from CT scan. Okay, so it's either very benign tumor, or it's something congenital. The lesion that cause no edema, usually this is how we think. And for this case, yeah, Taha is correct. This is aneurysm. And for the usual aneurysm, it should be like this black area, because it should be like a fluid, or actually a blood, active blood, moving blood. The black area and the T2 MRI, we will get it later. It's a signal void and it's a moving blood. So why it's two color? The answer came from Osama. There is a possibility of thrombosed and aneurysm. What I will say to you now, that for those aneurysms that are large and giant, and what we mean by giant aneurysm, that the aneurysm more than 2.5 centimeters in diameter, and this is definitely a giant one, usually have a thrombus inside the lumen. And I think we mentioned this information before, that sometimes if it's very large, one of your question was, if I remember correctly, was if it's large, it will rupture more. The answer is no, because there is a thrombus inside, and usually it's not rupture for large aneurysm. And here the example is that it's a partially thrombosed aneurysm. That's the diagnosis. And it's difficult, it's not easy, it's a board level. And from MRI, you can see the densities, and from T2, we can say this is signal void, which means there is a blood. And by the way, this white area is not calcification. This white area is the blood, while this area is the thrombus. Okay. Then if you see the CTA reconstruction, it's very misleading, because you can see half of the, let's say, the sphere. If it's a full sphere here, there is half of the sphere. Anybody has a suggestion why this is only half?
Can you just clarify that more, sir? Because
This is a full circle. This is a full circle. And then when we go to the CTA, this is the carotid, this is middle cerebral, this is the anterior cerebral. So basically we said it's aneurysm, and it's located in the middle cerebral artery. And what I see now, it's not a full circle. It's like half of the circle.
Because it's only showing the blood and not the thrombosed part.
Yeah, you and Muhammad Amara, both of you are correct. And even Muhammad didn't answer, but I see his eyes like just, yeah, I know this. Yeah, exactly. Because this shows only the blood, because these vessels are the blood inside the vessel. And here, the lateral part of it has blood, the medial part has clot. That's why it's not there. And you can see what are these dots? These are calcifications in the wall. So this white area may be not only blood, the lateral part may be also some calcifications, which give you some example. Now, let's go to surgery. The question was, Osama, if we want to go to surgery, what do you expect to find inside the surgery in this lesion? You will find a very hard. You'll find aneurysm that can rupture. You will find what do you expect? Like, just to consider ourselves as the surgeon who will operate.
So since it's like a giant aneurysm, the likeliness of it to rupture is, I wouldn't say like low. It's like it's within reason because of the blood clot inside. But maybe we'd consider what's it called, clipping of the aneurysm, since there isn't like much of the bulging, or there isn't like much turbulence going to the aneurysmic part.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want you to get the idea, then I will take you to intraoperatively to finish your idea. But here, just to give you a piece of science here, that in case this is a giant partially thrombosed MCA aneurysm, the treatment usually we do like a trapping, a clip here, and we do anastomosis for both middle cerebral arteries. The patient is old age, and actually, it present as rupture, so it present as acute presentation. It's very rare in this size, but for this patient, the initial presentation was subarachnoid, so there should be a treatment. Endovascular option is quite difficult here, and because what is the continuation of arteries? It's very difficult. I don't want to go through the decisions, but at the end, we decide to go to surgery. And what we have to inside the surgery is this. I want to go through this before the video, because the video will be very difficult. And now, if I ask you, this is left or right?
Left.
Left.
Left side.
So, yeah. So, this is what this part of brain, the opening is terional approach, and this is like opening of the dura. So what's this part if we are on the left? Yeah.
Parietal?
Frontal.
Yeah.
It's the frontal lobe.
Okay. And now is the, what's this?
Temporal.
Temporal. The idea I want to deliver here is that this is the stretched sylvian fissure that we see in the radiology. And this is the aneurysm. Okay. So that's why the radiology was difficult to interpret. And that's why how like Hajar and we already, all of us mix with it because it's very stretched anatomy. Okay. So this is the sylvian fissure. And this is the frontal, this is the temporal. And do you know what's this area, by the way?
Broca's. Broca's.
Yeah, this is the motor speech area. That's a Broca's area. For you, maybe this is interesting information. For us as a surgeon, it's a nightmare. Like I can make the patient aphasic, even if I clip the aneurysm correctly. So I should have double care on this area. That's how I want you to think. And now we go to the aneurysm, we dissect it. Actually, there is arachnoid above the aneurysm, we remove it. Then we get to the aneurysm. And what's this?
Calcium?
Do you notice what we did to the aneurysm?
You stuffed it?
Sorry? I didn't get any clear word till now. So we open the aneurysm because that's new. We open the aneurysm at early part of the procedure. Okay. And there is a thick mass, calcium, as one of you said, and there is many things inside the aneurysm. It's a stages of thrombosis. And yeah, this is the inside of aneurysm. I think that's very unique. And what we did, basically, we cut the aneurysm at this point. We evacuate everything. Actually, we start with opening the aneurysm, evacuate the content, just to have access to the middle cerebral artery at the origin, which is down beneath the aneurysm. Okay, I cannot reach it now. It's very difficult. Then after evacuation of the thrombus, and then get to the artery, then we start to control the aneurysm and cut the full aneurysm, except a part that part, this is the remaining part. Do you see this area? This is the remaining part of the aneurysmal wall. And then we constrict, we do a clip construction. So we are creating a vessel here. So the MCA, M1 go middle cerebral artery, continue here as a part, then continue to the other branches. And we use, in this case, 13 aneurysmal clip. Yeah, it's like the level of monster level. This is the beast level of aneurysm. Like for me personally, I'm sharing my experience here. Like after this surgery, I feel, oh, now I'm ready to any clip of any size because there is like a clash of clips. That's how I describe it initially after I finished the surgery. And that's the beauty of our student. This is like Rania Thamer was in the surgery and illustrate what we did. Like this is the sylvian stretched. I think now all of you understand more about the picture. Yeah, this is clear that this is the sylvian stretched and the aneurysm is there. This is the middle cerebral. This is the continuation of the artery. And this is the original aneurysm. This is the cut part. And this is how we made the clip. This is the zoom in view. And out of, let's say, artistic point of view, we think that the shape of the clips in this position similar to the peacock tail. So we suggest this is as a technical point alternative to the regular fence clipping. It's like a straight parallel clips. Now the angle, the size of the aneurysm obligate the surgeon to do the angles also, and the end result will be like a peacock tail. Okay. So for this example, before the video, I get you from the imaging, the importance of imaging, the variation in imaging, to the intraoperative picture, and to the research point of our work. And I feel like this example just will give you an idea about how continuous our work is. And not I'm describing our work, I'm describing the neurosurgery. You need these all. You need all the parallel pathway together. I want to share the video. Sorry. I hope, yeah. So now you are familiar with it, and this video is already on YouTube, so you can see the things, and I will not go through the 28 minutes, but this is just to give you an example about understanding, better understanding. The speed is by 3. So now I want you to see the initial image, the first exposure. Yeah. I want a voice with me now, at least 2 of you. Come on. Yeah, Hajar, Muhammad Imara. I want Osama and Taha rest a little bit. So what we are doing here, what's the tissue that we cut now?
Arachnoid.
Yeah, this is the arachnoid of the sylvian. This part, it's not done by me. This is one of the residents doing this, because obviously I know the aneurysm is thick and it's just transparent. So this would be one of your first step to remove, to open a sylvian fissure of an already opened sylvian fissure, but this will be an experience good to the resident. And now, do you notice how easy to just push the brain away? Keep in mind that this is by 3x, so it's very the speed is not the normal, but just to describe you the principle. Now the next step is I want to go where?
MCA neck, to find the neck of the aneurysm.
Perfect. We want to find the neck. And the answer is there is no neck. There is carotid only. I cannot go to the carotid. This is the optic. This is the carotid. You can see both of them. This is the optic and this is the carotid. And I cannot see the carotid bifurcation. It's just hidden beneath the aneurysm. So what I should do more, I want to dissect the brain from, we know that this is the Broca's area. And this is what you will understand in surgery. Like before going to surgery, you are touching the Broca's area. Yeah, touching is different from making injury. So better to dissect the aneurysm from now to make it more prone to manipulation. And it's not an easy process. So now you can see the separation. I'm now protecting the Broca's, okay, with cotinoid patty. This is what we will remove it later. And the most important is the circumferential. So can you describe to me, like Hajar, what we are doing, like what are in a sequence, what we are doing now?
Proximal control.
And because this is the zoom in view, like we are doing now, like which side?
Left.
Yeah, and which lobe?
Temporal.
Yeah, so that's the point, that if you notice that we go through the frontal separation first, then we go to the temporal separation. The idea is to try to be more systematic, okay, to go through the whole circle of the aneurysm. And this is just, I want to mention that you should remember that the surgeon is sitting away from the patient, and these are micro procedures. So it should be delicate and it should be preserving. sometimes you decide, we just cut a vein, as you see, because I cannot go to the initial dissection. I can see that the aneurysm is just deep here. So I should open more about the Sylvian fissure. So cutting this vein was mandatory to increase the exposure of Sylvian fissure. I check, this is also another vein. It's not acceptable to cut vein. This is what you will read inside the textbook. But we have this discussion before that, yeah, sometimes you are obligated. It's obviously I need to reach to expose some significant parts of the aneurysm. Let's go. I would, this is the end of the middle cerebral artery. We get it according to radiology. And now this cotinoid patty represents the middle cerebral artery continuation. And this patty here will represent, I will show you before the patty a little bit. Yeah, this is, as Hajar said, this is, we are trying to dissect the temporal to go to the proximal control. And this area should be the middle cerebral to go around it with the full patience. And now what we are doing is checking, zoom out. I want to give you orientation again because the brain is now covered. This is frontal, this is temporal, this is the end of Sylvian. Here I'm expecting the M2 artery, the continuation of middle cerebral. And here below the aneurysm, I'm expecting the M1. I want to go to this area, but this aneurysm is very thick. So the next step in the checklist, I will go and puncture the aneurysm. I puncture the aneurysm. Okay, it's not the best site to puncture. You can notice it's not a huge thing because we discussed that this is partially thrombosed. This is not very active. And I will just, I think, cauterize it. And now I'm cauterizing the wall of aneurysm. Any idea why?
To shrink it in size and stop small vessels on the top.
Yeah, exactly. A shrinkage is the target. Like a small vessel, some people may suggest, oh, this is you are cutting maybe a perforator. But yeah, we are dissecting already the vessel on the aneurysm. If you notice, like a few minutes ago, we dissect this vessel that was stuck to the aneurysm. And yeah, the next step is cauterization just to make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't make sense much in this size of aneurysm. But then we go puncture another side because this looks like active. I want the part with the thrombus. So the part with the thrombus should be this part, and the part with the active should be this part. And now we are inside the aneurysm. And I just want you to enjoy these moments that it looks like now a tumor removal. We bring a tumor biopsy for the first time and to remove just the thrombus of the aneurysm. And it's still thick, so we use a scissor also. And now you can notice this holder and the biopsy are not micro instrument. We get back to the regular instrument just to, because you can see the size. And there is a risk of something at this point.
Rupture?
Yeah, you are afraid like it will be rupture at any time on you, but yeah. So you should evacuate more and more of the clot, and at the same time you are looking to the entry. So my plan is if it rupture on me, I will close this with a purse string. Okay, you can notice there is still now a little manipulation in this side. I need to remove more. You can see there is, I don't know, these are nerves. What are these inside? We all understand that this is partial thrombosis, but when you are the surgeon that you are removing these structures, it's a total different idea about the term thrombosis or partial thrombosis. Do you see what's this? I don't know. But all from inside. And Now we remove more, and there is a blood. I think it's obvious from where this blood is, from the active part, from the non-thrombosed part. So you just creating an opening, better to close this opening by holding to the wall. That's it. So now you can compare the difference between the intraoperative rupture of yesterday and today's rupture. It's more controlled. And this is the M1. You notice? Now we can see the M1. Now the aneurysm is compressible. Okay. I think that's the full idea. We are here, and I just, because this is just a gross resection. What's this? This is a real giant aneurysm and many of content. I was thinking how the patient is asymptomatic for a long time. And now you can notice there is partial evacuation. Then we made a purse string. Then we closed the aneurysm with a suture. Still looks like a tough, but I think it's just because it's at the speed by 2 or by 3. And now put the clips. Do you know where we are? We are just in the middle of surgery because there is a huge part of the aneurysm. Okay, I cannot remove it all in a single shot. Then I put temporary clip. Now I'm removing temporary clip to give time to the brain. Then I will put the temporary clip again. You can see now it's not easy to handle. And now you can see why we go to the imaging and intraoperative and post-op first. So you can at least understand a little bit of this huge mess of blood. I would invite you to go through this full video. But yeah, I want to go to the end stages because it's a real fight. It's a war rather than a simple surgery. The interesting thing is that it's not very long. It's not the 13-hour surgery. It's just, I think, 6 hours or 7 hours. For us in vascular neurosurgery, it's just simple thing. And yeah, this is the end product. Patient is good, healthy, wealthy till now. And yeah, that's it. So this is the Sylvian now. I think the Sylvian, this is the frontal mountain, the temporal mountain, and this is the Sylvian Valley. Maybe not typical. I present this before in some neurosurgery meeting, and yeah, it's difficult and it depends on your decisions. And thank you. Comment, please. Now, lower your hand if and only I need the hand of questions or comments, sorry. I will take comments for, let's say, 10 minutes. Then I will go through 5 minutes with these points I want to share with you, and we will finish today's session. Yeah, Mohammed Imara, you have the privilege because you participate already in the surgery.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. I just wanted to ask.
Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Mohammed Amara. I'm a first-year medical student at University of Sharjah, UAE. Aren't you worried that this number of clips will fibrose a lot and maybe cause other symptoms later?
Yeah, definitely there is a worry. If the decision is mine, I will make only I will do it with 2 or 3 clips. But yeah, that I'm obligated to do so. What I did in that surgery, I covered the brain just with some layers of hemostasis, like a thin mesh. We use it in neurosurgery. We call it Surgiseal. I covered the brain just to make it just a separate between the clips and the brain. That's what I can do. Otherwise, the point is that if you compare it with the initial mass effect, the size of the initial aneurysm, so this remaining part with the eclipse is definitely like third or less of the initial mass effect. Yeah, so the brain is very relaxed now. Initially, you remember it, it's very tensed.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, any comment, question, any suggestions? Yeah, Naba.
Good evening, doctor. I'm Naba Amar. I'm from Iraq, and I'm from Anbar University. I'm third stage student, College of Medicine. I just asked if you removed all the clots from the aneurysm, and does that make something worse in the future of the patients?
Okay, thank you, Neba. If you say like the clot, you mean if you evacuate the full content of the aneurysm, let's say? What's
yes. Yeah.
It's a pathology. The full aneurysm is not there. It should not be there in the human body. So basically our target to remove the aneurysm. However, when you have such big size, there should be some part that we call it a remnant. It's not a target, it's an obligation. In this case, in a specific case, we are obligated to leave part of the aneurysm and we just reconstruct it. Otherwise, we should remove it in total. I mean, just clip it in the neck. But you can say that for this case, I just want to show you the slide that we already have about this. In this case, I didn't mention this initially, and now I think I can mention it. That this is, we call it all the mid-cerebral artery. This one we call it M1, and these two are M2s. So in this case, what is the neck of aneurysm? This is the neck of, this is the neck of aneurysm. If I make a clip here, I will close the mid-cerebral. Patient will have weakness and ischemia, stroke. So what I need to do, I need to create a blood vessel that connects the M1 to the M2s. That's why I put the clips here, just to create a larger blood vessel, because with the time, there will be fibrosis with the areas that clipped. So you don't need to put the clips just to close, and at the end, the full vessel will be closed. So it's a complete neck reconstruction. So based on that, we are creating a new neck for the aneurysm. That was the challenge. And for you, Naba, yeah, initially we should remove all the aneurysm, but as the neck is too wide and it's too complex and connected with many vessels, it was difficult. Another alternative, I say it initially, that another alternative, you can just clip this and make a bypass from superficial temporal artery to these M2s. But at the same time, where would be the mass effect? The mass effect will stay as it is. So there is alternative with the bypass for those with experience and for those neurosurgeons who may listen to this in the future. But yeah, based on our discussion, we decide to do this neck reconstruction. It depends on the surgeon and the experience. Thank you, Neba.
It was a great idea from you to do like this thing. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, yeah, to be honest, most of the treatment options are there. You just want to study them, put them in your mind, and then when you face such challenge, you have the decision. Basically, you are not creating an idea from zero. You have the other experience and you are stepping on the shoulder of people so you can manage this situation. It's not an easy surgery, I can tell. It was very difficult for me, and I am like, it's not like I I did it a lot. This is just unique, just different, and at the end it's good. in general as a treatment, but I think the most important, it's a great lesson for all of us to learn from. Thank you, Naba. 3 raised hands. Yeah, Jafar.
Thank you, doctor, for presenting a very exciting case. My question would be, when you first punctured the aneurysm, were you expecting blood to come out, or were you just looking for the passive part of it?
Yeah, like with the instrument, you can feel inside the aneurysm with the touch. So you feel heart part, I go to the heart part. But the first heart part is not hard enough. There is blood. Okay, so let's change the plan. And if you just, if I ask you that, what's the area that we puncture first? It should be the lateral. And the second one, it should be the medial. It doesn't make sense because it's not medial and lateral. It's a 3D for the whole aneurysm. Yeah, so you need to correlate the radiology with the 3D with the intraoperative field, and to be added that the patient is upside down. And now you understand that the patient is lying there and you are coming from the head of the patient, from the vertex of the patient. So you see the things upside down. And yeah, it's a matter of time, but this orientation is very important in management. Sometimes during surgery, you just go in the wrong direction because of this orientation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jafar. Yeah, Ali.
Yes, thank you, doctor, for this case. Just a quick question about what is the characteristics of the patient? You have mentioned that he is old, but how about his comorbidities? Does he have
pre or post-op?
Pre-operative.
Pre-operative, she's like a 60 smoker and 60 something. It's not old, but in Iraq, it's old, 60 something, 63. And she's a smoker like 5 packs per day. And even with all the ups and downs, she's still smoking, just not in front of anesthetist. That's my final decision. At least not in front of anesthetist, so he can accept to give you a general anesthesia. So yeah, with this situation, the patient, you need to take a decision. And there is a previous bleed. That's very strange. I don't go through the bleeding. Why it bleeds? Usually this is never bleed, but I have no answer. And even I cannot make search for a single observation for a case and without explanation. So this is an open question until you see another case or you see another example from other people.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mohammed Al-Sandu.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed, 4 years in Muslim Syria College of Medicine from Iraq, Baghdad. My question is, in giant aneurysm, there are mostly found the thrombus inside it, and how can we found a thrombus from the naked eye, from upside?
The first part, I understand it. The second part, I don't get you. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, in giant aneurysm, you make a puncture and from the thrombus area. Okay.
Yeah.
How can we now in this area? It's a thrombus.
It's from palpation. It's like
palpation.
Like palpation, but not your hand. The idea is you are, as a surgeon, we are palpating by the instrument. So when there is a lesion with the instrument, you can say that this is soft or this is a bony area. You get my point? So yeah, by this you can say that this is very hard. Let's go from this. This is the major part of the clot. For the first one, the giant aneurysm we mentioned before, The larger the aneurysm, the more slow flow of blood, so the more possibility of thrombosis. That's the mechanism. It's similar to like left atrial dilatation of the heart and then left atrial thrombosis.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Yeah, who's Kendi? What's the name? Sorry, I don't know the spelling.
Yeah. Good evening, Doctor. Yeah, I'm Kendi from Nordic Cultural University in
Kendi?
Kendi.
Yeah, Kendi.
Yes. Yes. I want to ask, why removing the content of the thrombus, is there any possibility, or what's the possibility for dislodge and infestation of terminal arteries, terminal branches of middle cerebral artery, and especially talking about the angular or other angular gyrus or other aspect that could be affected that has no collateral supply? Is there any possibility? Do we consider that doing that surgery? That's my question.
Yeah, like thank you, Kendi. I think you are the first rank in the application, as I remember. If I understand your question, you are asking that while removing the thrombus, there is possibility to dislodge or injure a part of intima or part of the branches that's supplying the area surrounding, just like the angular area or something like that. Is that your question?
Yeah, that's my question. Is there any possibility for dislodge to those areas that have no collateral supply and have micro vessels?
That's important, and I think you ask an important question. It's something occur behind the scene, and now you will understand it. Like when you are removing a thrombus, you should be removing in a controlled situation. What do you mean by control? This means that I know that I already dissect the other side. I know what's behind this thrombus, and I am removing this with my vision also, not to get through the wall of the aneurysm. So we are preserving the wall of aneurysm, and we are controlling it inside and outside because this is like a cut video, edited video. But if you are the surgeon operating, you understand my point that to simplify things, any dissection should be done by manual, not only by manual instrument, but by manual. I mean, you have to figure out both, let's say both end or both surfaces with each step of dissection. So yeah, it's not just removing the thrombus. It's not like this. It's removing the thrombus for the area that you are now in control. Then after that, you go to the other step. So it's like a small fights and end with the big war. So yeah. Is that helpful?
All right, sir. So my other question is there any possibility for post-op thrombolytics, or administration of post-op thrombolytics in such a patient? Would the patient benefit from it?
Yeah, we want to do thrombolytics. It's not thrombolytics. It's like after a craniotomy in general, we don't give thrombolytics. It's something big because you want to stop any bleeding. That's the target. So thrombolytics goes in the opposite direction. Okay. And that's the challenge when you have a patient with a risk factor for deep vein thrombosis and you are doing a surgery for him. So from one side, I want to do the surgery. I want a hemostasis. I don't want any bleeding from the site or inside the brain. On the other side, there is high risk for deep vein thrombosis, let's say, so I need to give him at least anticoagulant. That's why there is a huge debate on it, and there is guideline, and we usually start after 48 hours, not immediately after the surgery. And this is for anticoagulant, not thrombolytics. If you say thrombolytics, it's higher level. However, local is different. Like sometimes we wash the final construct of the aneurysm with heparinized saline. This is normal. Okay. So the local agent is different from systematic. As a surgeon, you want the thrombolytics just to keep this blood flow intact. At the same time, you should be aware that there is high risk of bleeding from all layers of the surgery. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the reply, sir. For response.
Thank you. I have some points. I will delay it to the next time. I think that time is okay for today. Let's meet on Tuesday, and we can describe more. If you have any question, we will be happy to answer. If it's more research related, wait for Tuesday. Thank you all. Thank you for your time, and I think the presentation is very nice. I enjoy them, and for them, this is a CV lines. This is a credit you can put directly in your CV, Mustafa, Fatma, and Tibe, that you give a presentation, and this is the link of my presentation on the Neurosurgical TV. So this is part of your work, and I'm very happy if you work and it's documented at the same time. So thank you, and thank you for being there, and thank you for your time. John, are you here? Yeah, we can leave, and then John, we will re-edit this. Thank you, everybody. We will be happy to have your question on the group, and bye-bye. Thank you.
Hello, Samer? I don't know, can't hear you. Hello, can anybody hear me? And what can I hear? Hello, testing. Hello, testing, 1, 2, testing. Oh, I guess we're off the air. Are we off the air? Hello, Noah, are you there? Hello, testing.
Hello, Dr. John. I
Oh,
think,
okay, you're on, you're there.
yeah, I think it's
Hello,
Dr.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I think
Hello?
Dr. House, he left the meeting.
Okay,
I think so. I think this is the end of the meeting. I think so, yeah, Dr. John.
Oh, so they stopped, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't get my microphone. I guess Samer said good night, right? Or
Yeah,
good day.
yeah. I think so, yes, exactly.
Who is this, Maryam?
Maryam Naja Awadi.
How you doing?
Thank you. Fine, fine.
Where you from? Where you from, Maryam?
I'm from Iraq, Baghdad, exactly.
Oh, good, good. Do you have your photo doesn't work, right? Your camera doesn't work.
Camera doesn't work.
No,
I think no,
I can see your
it's
I can see your
inappropriate
face,
time.
but I can't see your camera.
It's not appropriate time. It's our time here in Baghdad. It's 1 o'clock a.m.
Oh
I
my
think so.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Are you enjoying this?
Thank you. This is I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And actually, it's amazing.
Well, you know, we need hosts to help us broadcast. Now, do you have a camera? But you need to, I mean, like someone to introduce Samer, or when we have another broadcast, someone to introduce them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't open the camera from mine iPad.
Well, we can do it. We can do it. Do you want to do it? Do you want to be a host for some of our webcasts?
Okay, why not?
Why not? Yeah. It's good to get involved, to become part of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I people would much rather hear from a student or a neurosurgeon than me. I'm not a neurosurgeon and not a student, so it's better to have someone that's in the webcast be part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you need to do is you need to write your email address in the chat. You got the you see
Email
the chat, you see the chat room there?
Chat room. Yeah. I see.
Just put your email address there.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah. Let me
Just
get your,
just a moment.
there you are. Okay, I'll give you mine. Yeah, these are fantastic. I mean, these are the best I've seen. And I do a lot of webcasts.
Okay, I sent it now.
Okay, there you go, Miriam. Okay, let me give you mine. Okay,
Okay.
so it's Okay. Because we have other webcasts too that you can kind of, you know what we're doing. You're a med student. You understand what we're doing.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I see your email. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I received.
What year are you?
What? I couldn't hear you. What?
What year are you med school?
Yeah, here. No, I'm MBCHB from Baghdad University College of Medicine. I'm a lecturer anatomy. No.
Are you a med student or a student?
Yeah,
or?
I'm graduated recently.
Oh, you graduated. Oh, are you a neurosurgeon or a resident?
I'm graduated recently, and I'm interested of neurosurgery actually. So I'm enrolled in this meeting.
You're applying to go to neurosurgery.
Your plan? Not now. I will rotate in our hospital in Iraq.
Okay.
Then I will come and become a resident. So after that, I can introduce myself in the board of Iraqi of neurosurgery.
All right, you have to.
I can take the specialty of neurosurgery. Yeah. It's a long way, a long story.
Yeah, oh yeah, like 5 years, 6 years.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so you have to apply for a school first, right?
Actually, I want to work about the plan that's to work in outside of Iraq. But I know.
Well, this is a way. Yeah. This is a good way to. This is way.
Yeah. I passed the exam of OET, Occupational English exam.
Excellent.
And yeah. And there's many steps of USMLE or the BLAB. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a long road, but it's worth it.
Yes, it's worth. Yeah, exactly. It's worth.
And you're going to enjoy the road.
Thank you. You too.
You don't. It's not like you arrive and then everything's great. It's great to get there.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity if I can get it. Why not? It's my dream.
Well, especially nowadays. I mean, I wish I was a med student now. Wow. You have so many good resources, and to be able to interact with leading neurosurgeons like SAMER, it's, as a student, that's valuable. When I was a med student, we never even talked to our neurosurgeon. They were too busy. They never had time. But now you can meet, especially someone like you that wants to go to a different place.
Yes.
You can meet students, residents.
Yeah.
From the place you want to go.
Yes. We are blessing about this opportunity and Dr. House actually.
Yeah, it's a big advantage. And most students don't use it. I think you can use it. You can use meeting people like me and SAMER, other people.
But it's still depend on yourself, and you will struggle about this the long way to be a doctor outside of your country. It's still.
Yeah. No, it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it, and it's there's not easy for anything. It's you need to work hard about it if you want it.
No, like people that go into medicine, they know hard work. They understand.
Yeah. Already we are doctor and we are work harding.
Yeah. People outside of medicine, many don't know how to work hard. They don't understand. You mean you stay up all night to work? Yeah, that's part of the job. And it's tremendously satisfying, and it's to me it's getting more interesting. It's getting more I think more powerful. I think doctors will be able to do more and more and more and get better and better and better. Quicker than in my day. You have so much access to good education. It's not a question of money. So you have a lot going for you nowadays.
I hope so. I'm so thankful for you and your time and sharing your experience with us. I'm so thankful. I'm grateful for you.
Yeah, one thing I think I will say to you is to get a camera, so people get to know your face and your person, because I know it's easy. As a student, I was shy.
No problem.
No
problem, doctor. I want to open it. Just I don't know how to open it. Just the microphone and audio.
Let me tell you. What do you have? Do you have a laptop?
Can you
make
me a host? I think a co-host.
Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe I need to let you. Oh yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. Okay, you're coming in now. Now you should be able to.
Yes. Now I can.
All right, there you go. You got it.
Hello from another side.
Well, it's important that people get to know your face, because you're now a doctor, and you're a business. You are you. You are Maria Naji Alawadi.
Exactly. We are a doctor and we have a special personality.
Yes.
How to deal with it.
Yes, you might as well get used to it. Gone are the days of being anonymous. You're not anonymous. You are you, and be proud of it. Be proud of your name, because that's you. Let me introduce you to someone else. Noe, are you there? It's a neurosurgeon from Mexico that I'm showing this SAMER'S webcasts because they're so good. I want to do the same thing in Latin America. With med students, because I see how you guys are interactive. You're learning. It's good quality education.
It's a good opportunity, very beneficial. I think so. It's a good idea.
I would love to. Noe's the same like Samer. He knows a lot of students. I think he'll be good at, like Samer does, calls on people, multitasks, shows this, goes here. I think Noe's going to be good. Noe, you there? He probably stepped away. But he has a broadcast every Thursday, neuroanatomy from Mexico, every Thursday. But it's in Spanish. I don't think you'd understand Spanish. You don't understand Spanish, right? You don't know Spanish, right?
No.
No, okay. So you wouldn't understand that, but he speaks English too. So
I speak some little French and Danish, actually.
Spanish,
because my sister, my sister lives in Danish. She's a doctor here.
Who your mother?
My sister.
Oh, okay. She's a what specialty?
She's a doctor. No, she's still a rotator. Not get a specialty until now.
Okay,
but
general doctor.
Yeah, GB. But her husband, he's a surgeon.
Okay.
In Copenhagen.
In Baghdad.
No, in Copenhagen.
Oh,
Danish.
Copenhagen. Oh, he's Danish.
Her husband. Yeah, her husband.
Oh, okay. Does she live in Iraq or is she in Denmark?
Lived in Iraq, but my sister and her husband in Denmark.
Oh, okay. Do you go visit them? Can you go visit them?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Every 6 months.
Huh?
Every 6 months, I can visit her.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So, okay, it's nice meeting you, and I'll keep your name in mind if we have a conference that we need. Let me get to your address here before.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, actually.
Well, it'd be good for you to do, to do stuff like that. get active. Okay, let me just write it down on a good spot.
Okay, I hope don't forget me.
Oh, don't worry. I'll see you. I'll do. You're gonna be there Tuesday, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
be. You know, we will always be here.
Okay, we will.
Okay, let me just. Okay, now I got it. Okay. Yeah, this is, you're gonna learn this tool.
Okay.
This tool is a good tool to learn. It's a really good tool to, you know, I just taught a big neurosurgeon, Juha Hernesniemi, Zoom this morning. He doesn't know, he's my age. He doesn't know technology.
I feel about it. I feel that.
Do you know, have you heard the name Juha Hernesniemi?
What?
His name is Juha Hernesniemi. He's a famous neurosurgeon from Finland.
Huh? No, it's unfortunately I
Yeah, I
didn't.
know. It's a big world, but
Yeah.
he's just learning Zoom. But you grew up with it, right? You're growing up with Zoom, so that's good.
Good.
So
fine.
Okay, it was nice meeting you, Marielle. So I'll see you Tuesday.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, have a good night.